By the authority vested in me by the Charter of Brown University and the Board of Fellows of the Corporation, I hereby declare the 251st Commencement of Brown University convened. Good morning. Welcome to this historic place on this absolutely glorious day. These will be your last academic exercises as Brown undergraduates. Yes. In a few minutes, you will be formally granted your degrees, and when you walk back up the hill to the main green, you will do so as alumni of the great Brown University class of 2019. But first, let's reflect on the transition you're about to make from college students to college graduates. And I want to begin by going back to the last major life transition that many of you experienced from high school to college. And it seems to me like almost yesterday that you first arrived on campus, for many of you, in the fall of 2015. So just take a moment and conjure up a mental image of yourself as a first-year student at Brown. Or if you're a transfer student, where you first started college. So think about that. What were you feeling? What were your hopes and your dreams for your college experience? Now, my guess is that for many of you, an honest look at that self of 4 years ago is at least a little bit wistful, maybe even a little bit uncomfortable. Some of you may be thinking, why did I feel so socially awkward? So naive, and maybe you were anxious about doing college right, whatever that means. As seniors this past fall, looking at new first years traversing campus in small packs with lanyards around their necks, you may have thought, super cute, super clueless. And then you may have winced when you recognized that that's what seniors were thinking about you 3 years ago. But please, I want you to be kind to your former selves, because there's something truly special about the qualities that you possessed as first-year students. You were so receptive to new ideas. You were so optimistic. And you were so eager to do things that were consequential. You were open, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. You recognized during that time of transition that college would change you, even if you didn't know quite how that would happen or exactly what it would look like. Now think about your current self and how much has changed since that day when you arrived on campus. You have learned so much. You know so much more about the world. You're more intellectually ready to take on any challenge. You're more comfortable in your own skins. And Brown itself has changed since your arrival, in many cases due to your actions. You've left a lasting imprint on this university. And I don't only mean your having bestowed the name Blueno on the enormous statue of the Blue Bear that arrived on campus in 2016, and then transforming Blueno for better or worse into an enduring Brown meme that will live beyond you. What I mean are things like demanding that the university commit to combating racism in all of its forms, and more broadly to building a more diverse and inclusive community at Brown. Now, along the way, some of these conversations were very difficult. They took courage, but they were necessary and they were effective. And the result was a plan to make Brown better. It'll take some time to fully realize our aspirations, but with your help, we have made progress. In addition, some of you were instrumental in leading a study revising the state's 2016 greenhouse gas emissions reduction plan. They like that too. Because of your efforts, Rhode Island is considering a plan to more rapidly achieve its targets for reducing its carbon footprint. Another example, we learned from you that some Brown students were having to choose between buying food and buying textbooks. And so we changed how we administer financial aid and introduced a program to provide free textbooks to those who need them. These changes will help generations of students who follow you, so we thank you for that. You've done these things, you've done so much more. I'm grateful for your thoughtfulness and for your activism. I'm proud that you've already taken what you've learned here at Brown and put it to good use in the world. I have to add, I'm proud of the Brown women's sailing team, which won the Women's National Championship 2 days ago. You have to give them a shout out. So now, as you embark on another great life transition, I want to leave you with some parting thoughts on the changes that lie ahead and make sure that you know that you're positioned to drive change that improves your lives and betters the world around you. I see 3 large changes that you must confront. The first is change in the world of work. We hear a regular drumbeat of predictions that many of today's jobs will become irrelevant due to new technology, hopefully replaced with new jobs that haven't yet been imagined. The people who succeed in this environment will have the ability to create and collaborate and address complex situations and lead with empathy. They'll have human intelligence that complements artificial intelligence. I have no doubt that Brown's open curriculum has helped you develop the agility that will be needed in this rapidly changing world. I'm sure that's true. But I want you to recognize that it isn't true of everyone. There will be, and indeed there already are, people who are left behind, which leads me to my second point. Economic inequality, which has been increasing within the US and many other countries around the world for decades, may continue to rise if the benefits of rapid technological change go only to the wealthy and the educated. And I fear that widening economic disparities will continue to undermine social cohesion and possibly threaten democracy. We see this already in countries around the globe that are experiencing a rise in nationalism and xenophobia. Now, all of you, thanks to your education, will likely, very likely, be on the privileged side of the socioeconomic divide. And you owe it to others to apply your education and your talents to building strong societies and promoting prosperity that benefits everyone, not just those who are fortunate enough to attend universities like Brown. Last, perhaps the most sobering change you'll have to contend with is climate change. The best science tells us that catastrophic and permanent damage to the planet will be unavoidable unless we reduce net greenhouse gas emissions to 0 by 2050, possibly 2040. This isn't far away. You'll be in your 40s, a time when most people are in the midst of building careers and building families. Now, it's easy to not want to think about climate change. It's a disturbing subject, so much so that I almost thought I should avoid it on this celebratory day. But you're Brunonians, and you rise to challenges, and you're more than capable of facing hard truths and then doing the hard work of making change. Addressing climate change will take the concerted efforts of scientists, policymakers, artists, teachers, and leaders in business, not-for-profits, and government. Every single one of you, no matter where you're headed next, has a role to play, and I know you will. We need you to do this. So let me end where I started. As you enter a changing and sometimes challenging world, recognize that you'll continue to grow and change, even if you don't know exactly how that will happen or exactly what it will look like. And I want you to embrace that change. I want you to own it, I want you to lead it, and I know you will. As you depart, I encourage you to dig deep and channel your inner first-year self. Not the self-doubts and the naivete. You can leave those behind for next year's first-year students. but never lose the optimism, the intellectual, emotional, and social openness, the eagerness to learn, and the commitment to having an impact on the world. These virtues, in combination with all that you've learned here, will lead you to lives of meaning and consequence in a changing world. So now, would you like to be granted your degrees? Okay. So qui honorandi, juvenes quos ogradum baccalaurii, idoneus comperimus vomis, praesentamus et eos ad hunc gradum promovere licia regamos. Honored colleagues, we present these young people whom we have found fit for the bachelor's degree, and we ask that we be permitted to advance them to this degree. Thank you. Candidati agradum baccalaurii auscultabunt. Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please listen attentively? Auctoritate mihi commissa vos agradum baccalaurii admitto, omniaqua jura ac privilegia hunc gradum pertinentia vobis concito. In huios rei testimonium diplomata vestris cogligis and collegii gramine tradum. By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the bachelor's degree, and I grant to you all the rights and privileges pertaining to this degree. In testimony of this fact, I will award diplomas to your colleagues on the college green. Congratulations. You may now move your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. We look forward to greeting you back on the college green.